How's it going, Internet? Regular old dude here back with another song. And today I am doing one that was a suggestion, and somebody, well, not just somebody, two people asked me to do Skinny Puppy. I have heard the name before, but I don't remember ever listening to their music. Now, Wikipedia describes them as a Canadian electro-industrial band. Both of the people that suggested Skinny Puppy did not suggest a particular song, so I went to Spotify, put in Skinny Puppy, and saw that they have a lot of albums. I didn't want to go too obscure, so I clicked at the top of the page on there and to give you the top 10 most popular songs that people listen to, and I picked one of those based off the title, and the song I chose is Smothered Hope. It's from 1984, so we're going back a long way. And this is from the Remission EP, one of their first releases. And I think from what I read that this is considered their first real studio album, even though it was first put out as an EP. There were some songs added onto it later on to give it that full album length. In case you're stumbling onto this without seeing the first video that I did, what I'm going to do is I'm going to listen to this song right now for the first time with you, stopping along the way, giving my thoughts on what I'm initially hearing. I'll have the lyrics in front of me, which I didn't have in the first video. I've got them here on the screen so I can know what's going on just in case I can't make out the words. Then after I listen to it that initial time, I'm going to turn the camera off, put on some headphones, listen to it 5 more times, really focusing in on different parts of the song, whether it's drums, guitars, synthesizer maybe in this case, the structure of the song, transitions, beat, lyrics, things like that. I'm going to listen to particular items with each of those 5 re-listens that I do. Then I'm going to turn the camera back on. Then we're going to go through the song again. I'll talk about the things that I discovered, my interpretation of the song, how it makes me feel, and any other thoughts that I might have. So without further delay, let's get into Smothered Hope from the Remission EP by Skinny Puppy. Definitely getting the electronic aspect of the song that they described. I don't know if it's coming through on the microphone on the camera, but there's a dirty quality, like a grainy, crackling quality to that beat that I really like the way that's coming through. And we got something building here, no lyrics yet, and you can feel with that sample or something in the background that something's building. We're coming to probably a transition really soon. Could be wrong, of course. Alright, we did have some lyrics there. We still had the continuation of that beat, and the delivery of the vocals, very robotic almost, very 80s. Being the fact that I'm old, I remember this quite well in the mid-80s, this style. I'm shocked that I didn't hear this back then, but I really wasn't big into music when I was in my middle school years. Just kind of starting to get into it, but not too much. And what we heard there was withered rope, you hang what's empty, can't remain to put in, simply in time cry, the hollow words to sing with false disguise. Smothered hope, fly from sorrow for a new divine tomorrow. Well, that's a lot to unpack. Withered rope you hang what's empty. Can't remain to put it simply. In time cry the hollow words to sing with false disguise. Not quite sure how to interpret that yet. I mean, initially you got withered rope you hang what's empty. I'm guessing that sounds like an allusion to suicide. The rope is hanging what's empty. The person is empty inside. Can't remain, to put it simply, because they're gone. So, and again, these are my initial thoughts. But let's go ahead and get back into the song and see what we hear. I'll break it down a lot more when I come back from listening to the song several more times. So we're into the chorus now, and we heard that change in tone. I just don't want to know anymore. And then 3 times he says, life shifts up and down. Everybody knows it's wrong. Is it wrong that it goes up and down? Not sure. Let's get through the remainder of the chorus here. Now back it up a little bit into that break that they just had there, where we had some of the instruments drop out, give us a more clean sound there. But the remainder of the chorus was, why don't you care? Life shifts up and down wrong. Now do it seem fair? Life shifts up and down wrong. And I'll put these lyrics on the screen also, so you've already seen them before I'm going over them here. Not sure exactly how to analyze that yet. Well, let's get back into it. I'm going to back it up a little bit so we can hear the transition a little bit better. Let me go back. Lot went by there. I'm just going to read it off, and we'll save the interpretation for when we come back from the break and I listen to it several times. I really can hear in the speaker here next to me, and I imagine when I put the headphones on, the way that either synthesizer or effect that they have there, it sounds like it's shifting between the left and right channel, so I imagine that's going to sound a lot different than it does on the speaker here. It sounds like they're playing with moving the sound around during the song. And in the second verse it says, it's not in the rhyme or reason, so it goes with every season. Crawl to top, fall through bottom. First-hand love is really rotten. Slice of life, find what's plenty, inch towards a sanctuary. light with me inside the womb. I know everyone, everybody knows it's me. It's my voice cries out obscenity. Sightless I regard my past, sometimes it should. And then we go into the chorus, which I'll back up a little bit so we can get into that. But kind of hard to really break that down on my initial feeling. And my initial feeling is that there's somebody, and just from those very first words, it sounded like somebody either depressed or suicidal, or maybe has already committed suicide, and maybe this is their epitaph, their note that they left afterwards, or how they're feeling, or what's going on inside their head. But let's get back into the song. Let me back it up a little bit, and then we'll let it go through the chorus. Maybe I'm not hearing it properly, but it sounds like his delivery of the chorus is different this time, and I'll pay attention to that when I re-listen to it. It sounds like he's getting more desperate almost, more desperate sound to his voice. It's almost like there's a frustration building in him, and I'm not sure if I'm hearing that, or maybe I'm just forgetting how I delivered the chorus the first time. We got just a little less than 2 minutes left in the song, so let's get right back into it. I like that really hollow sound. That again, I'm not sure if it's coming through on the film, but I'm going to back that up a little bit, because there's like I'm sure it's a synthesizer effect or something, but it sounds like the note hits, but then it's that hollow sound. I really like the way that sounds. Tone change. Back up. I'll back that up a little bit there so we can get this whole last bit of the song, because there's about 40 seconds left. But I heard a lot going on there. It sounds like they were really adding and pulling instruments in and out, or sound effects, something, but I really like the shift back and forth that they were doing there, and I'm really looking forward to diving into this and listening to all the different parts they have in there, because I'm sure they're layering a lot together. And just on this initial listen, I'm probably missing a whole bunch of the structure of the song. But let me back that up and we'll just listen to it the rest of the way out. So we have about 45 seconds. Okay, so what I was hearing there sounded like a sample from a movie or something. And it sounded like they were saying, the world's a hell, so what's it matter, what's in it, or something along those lines. I'll be able to get that better. And then there at the very end, I heard them say electric chair a few times. So now pulling back, maybe I'm completely wrong about the interpretation I had initially. Maybe this is somebody that's on death row, maybe. The world's a hell, so what's it matter what's in it? Then hearing the electric chair at the end, that really changed my perception of the song there. So I'm going to really dive into these lyrics and listen to those samples and listen to the structure of the song, and then we'll come back and we'll go over some of the parts that I really like and found interesting and give my analysis and breakdown. Be right back. Okay, I'm back after listening to the song 5 times with headphones on, and I will put links to the Spotify, and I'll find a copy of it on YouTube if it's there, and put the links in the video description below so you can listen to the song yourself. And I do suggest you listen to it with headphones on. Made a big difference for me. I heard a lot of things that I didn't hear in the initial listen just on the speaker, and I was right. You could hear them playing with the tones and the channels left and right as far as the music shifting back and forth. So that made a big difference to listening to it with headphones on and reading the lyrics, listening to the song as the tones and structure changes really helped a lot too, to help me hone in on what my feeling is on the song and what I think the song's about. But let's go ahead and break it down. We'll start right at the very beginning. And in about 10 seconds, 10, 12 seconds, you're going to hear, it may not come through real clear. I didn't even notice it the first time. I heard that there was something there, but I didn't hear it until I put the headphones on. You're going to hear a sample from a movie, actually. And let me play it for you, and I'll put what they're saying on screen as it happens so you can follow along. Now I know there's a later sample in the song that I'm also going to point out, but I believe this is from the same movie. I'll grab my notebook so I don't forget. It's from a 1943 Alfred Hitchcock movie called Shadow of a Doubt. And I'll put the movie poster up on screen here so you can take a look at it. And I read a quick synopsis. It's basically about a man who comes to visit his family. He's the uncle, I believe. And there's some murders happening, and I believe it's his niece that suspects he's the one that is doing them. The police think it's somebody else, capture somebody else, and then later on in the movie things come to a head, and there's a lot more to it than that, but I don't want to talk about the movie too much in case you actually want to go watch it. Now we're getting ready to dive into the first part of the lyrics here in just a few seconds, and I want you to pay attention to the tone in his voice, because there's going to be a shift in tone later on, the way he's delivering his lines or his lyrics or his singing style. It changes just a little bit, and I could hear it much better with the headphones on. But let's go ahead and start with the beginning of his lyrics here. Okay. My cat is hungry. Let me go see what she wants. All right, checked on the cats. A withered rope, you hang what's empty. So basically, the character here doing the speaking has nothing left inside. Can't remain, to put it simply. He knows he's going. He knows this is the end. In time, cry the hollow words to sing with false disguise. That one I'm having a little harder time interpreting. In time, cry the hollow words to sing with false disguise. Not exactly sure how to interpret that, so we'll go ahead and move on. Let me know what you think of that line. So we have Smothered Hope, fly from sorrow for a new divine tomorrow. So Smothered Hope means that at one time he had hope that this wasn't going to happen to him maybe, but that has been smothered, just completely taken away from him. And he's going to fly from sorrow, this deep depression that he's in now, for a new divine tomorrow. So he thinks he's going to the afterlife maybe. And then he comes with the next line, I just don't want to know anymore. Does that mean he's just given up, or he doesn't want to know anymore about what's going to happen? He just wants to get it over with. Not 100% sure there, but I think he's just given up. So let's move on into the next part of the song. So here he says 3 times, life shifts up and down, everybody knows it's wrong. So what he's saying is life has its ups and downs, everybody knows it's wrong. What is he yelling about there? Everybody knows it's wrong, wrongly convicted. Everybody knows that life is wrong. I'm not exactly sure. He definitely feels like somebody or society has done him wrong here. So maybe he's saying that the ups and downs of life are unfair and everybody knows it. But we'll go a little bit further. Now there's a little subtle change that I noticed there. Why don't you care? That's pretty straightforward. And he goes to life shifts up and down. And again, instead of saying like he did in the previous verses, everybody knows it's wrong, he just says life shifts up and down, wrong. Like he's just fed up. He's tired. He doesn't even say the remainder of the line of everybody knows it. He just says wrong. Throws wrong in. And here he does it again. Now we have another section of lyrics coming up here, and this is where I want you to pay attention to the tonal change in his voice, and I hope it comes through on the camera. It's almost as if in the beginning he's telling you everything is unfair, this is not right, I shouldn't be here, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And here it's almost like he's resolved himself to what's about to happen, and you can hear there's almost this sarcasm almost in his voice, the way he delivers these lines. Sorry, before we get into this group of lyrics, which comes in about 10 more seconds, I also noticed that the synthesizer, like the lower notes, are more short and abrupt in this first part of the song, and they're going to shift later on, and I think that's a deliberate choice. I could be wrong, but it feels like a deliberate choice. We're going from this progression of not fair, shouldn't be here, everybody knows it's wrong, to what we're about to hear now with the change in tone and later on. So if you can hear the lower notes on the synthesizer, it's more of just a boo, boo, like these real short little, maybe a second long bursts of notes, and that's going to change later on, so just keep that in mind. But let's get into this group of lyrics and the change in his the tonal change in his voice. Okay, it's a really big paragraph of lyrics, as we heard during the first playthrough, but I just wanted to go through this first part here and I'll back it up a few seconds. It's not the rhyme or reason, so it goes with every season. Crawl to the top, fall through the bottom. Okay, so it's not rhyme or reason, so it goes with every season. It just happens all the time. There's no reason for these things. There's no balance. There's just, things just happen. And then we have crawl to the top, fall through the bottom. So you get up to where you think you should be, and before you know it, you're right back down, you fall through the bottom, rock bottom. Things are terrible. We made it all the way up here, but now you're all the way back down at the bottom again. First-hand love is really rotten. Slice of life, find what's plenty, inch towards a sanctuary. Fight with me inside the womb. First-hand love is really rotten. If you're the one experiencing it, not like somebody you just kind of like or a relative or something like that, but firsthand, that person really means something to you. He says it's really rotten because I guess when it goes away or something happens, it hurts you the most. Slice of life, find what's plenty, inch towards a sanctuary. So maybe this goes along with the line of crawl to the top, fall through the bottom. You know, he's slice of life, finds what's plenty, he's moving up, finding something that means a lot to him. Maybe it's that love that he is calling really rotten now. Inching towards a sanctuary, so during this climb, during this relationship, he's trying to get to a safe place, and this is where maybe the bottom falls out. And it says, fight with me inside the womb. So maybe the womb is that sanctuary, but there's just something that is causing turmoil or strife in his life. I'm not exactly sure what it would be. Maybe it's his criminal undergoings. Maybe that's part of the problem we have. But let's back it up a few seconds and get to the second half of this group of lyrics. So here we have, I know everybody knows it's me. So everybody knows it's him that did this, or everybody knows the real him and he is being falsely accused and convicted. It's my voice cries out obscenity. So his voice crying out obscenity, does that mean that the situation that he's in is obscene in his eyes as far as just ridiculous or completely out of control, that it never should have gotten here, that it's just obscene that he's in this situation? Sightless I regard my past, sometimes it should. Sightless I regard my past, as in he's looking back on the things he's done in the past, and by saying sightless, he's not seeing what he's done, or he's fooling himself maybe. And then I just don't want to know anymore. Again, he just wants this to be done, and he just doesn't want to hear about it, doesn't want to think about it, just wants it to be over. Again, we had his refrain there of life shifts up and down, everybody knows it's wrong 3 times, and we're going to get the life shifts up and down again coming up in just a second. And instead of saying the second part of the line, everybody knows it's wrong, it's just life shifts up and down, wrong. Like he's just spent, he's done with it. Now we're going to hear a change in the structure of the song again in just a few seconds. That's a rhythm change. Everything has been pretty much the same, except there was that break. Some of the music dropped away right before we got into that tonal change in his voice and the way he was speaking. But now we're going to get a rhythm change in the music, and to me, we're getting closer to the end here. He's getting closer to the end. I think this is the end of his life. Things are about to end for him. Most likely, from what I gather from the song, through an execution. And this rhythm change to me almost symbolizes he's got this demeanor throughout the song. Here, it's going to change, and it's going to be a faster, more erratic beat, almost like his pulse rate is going up because he knows the end is drawing closer, and it's more erratic. He's getting frantic in his mind. Okay, here, you can just hear it right there. The synthesizer, the low notes, changed from those short little bursts throughout the song to here. I'm going to back it up a few seconds. It's these long, drawn-out notes. Like this is the end. We're about to get the rhythm change, but the depression, the sadness, everything is starting to really sink in, and those long, low notes really bring it home for me. Let me back up a few. Here we go. Now he just stopped talking about life shifting up and down. It's just, why don't you care? Why don't you care? And then we hear him throw in Smothered Hope, and then again one more time, why don't you care? Like he's getting more and more desperate. He knows the end is here. And now for me, you're going to hear these chimes come in, and I think I mentioned it when I listened to the song the first time, like these tonal chimes that were coming in. And to me, after listening to the song, knowing that the end's coming and interpreting the lyrics, these almost sound like a warning tone. Like if something's powering up, like maybe an electric chair, you have that warning, those tones to let people know that something is charged, that there's danger around. And those are going to come on in a few seconds, and to me, that's what that felt like. Here I think he's right at the very end, because you're going to hear him say Smothered Hope over and over and over again. Now I'm going to play that back. he's yelling Smothered Hope over and over again, and then you hear that scream, and then about a 3 or 4 second pause, and again, I hope it comes through on the camera, you hear almost like an exhale, this almost like his final breath. The scream was the jolt, the shock of the electric chair, and then when his body relaxed after the jolt, that final breath came out. And let me roll it back and play that for you. And those quotes that you hear several times, if the world is a hell, what does it matter what happens in it? And that's from that movie, Shadow of a Doubt by Alfred Hitchcock. And then I'm going to let this play out. We have about 30 seconds left. And hopefully in the background you can hear the words electric chair several times. And you can hear the song just kind of disintegrate at the end also. Whew, I really enjoyed that song. First time listening to it, I really just got the, oh, this is a song from the 80s vibe, but after I put some headphones on, dove into the lyrics and started breaking it down and listening to the structure of the song and the changes, especially with the tonals and the chimes and the change in his presentation, it really was enjoyable. So thank you very much for the suggestions, and I'm glad I really dove into Skinny Puppy and did one of their older songs. Again, it was just random. Picked it from the top 10, saw a cool name, Smothered Hope, and went for it. But I really feel like this is somebody that knows that their life's about to end, especially somebody that may be on death row, that is there for something they've done. They've been denying themselves or blaming the world around them, but I think the person in this song is supposed to be there and is getting executed for crimes that he did commit. And I think that tonal change midway through the song is just his bravado coming through, like, yeah, I know I did this, there's no rhyme or reason, but he's still screaming in his head that life has its ups and downs, everyone knows it's wrong, why don't you care, why don't you care? It's just, or it could be that it's somebody there that is wrongly convicted, but I get the feeling that he actually did what he's there for. So, very good song. Really enjoyed that a lot. Thank you for joining me. And again, if you have any suggestions, you can leave it open-ended and just suggest a band like I did with this one, and hopefully I'll happen upon something interesting like I did with this Skinny Puppy song here, so that really worked out well. But I got a couple more suggestions coming up that I'm going to film and put them up. So please leave your suggestions, comments. Let me know what you think of this song after you listen to it, or maybe you're a Skinny Puppy fan and you've listened to it and you have your own interpretation. Would love to hear that also. Please take the time to give me that thumbs up. Hit that like button, hit the little ringy bell thing too, so you know when I put my next video out for the channel. I know I'm just starting out, but if you could spread the word, if this is something that you like, share it with your friends. I plan on doing a lot more of these. I'm really enjoying this, diving into music that I know nothing about. So I hope you have enjoyed it too. And in the meantime, like I said in the first video, stop listening to the same stuff. Get outside that comfort zone of yours and listen to some new shit. See you next time.